Hey guys, it's Reggie with fulltimerep.com, and in this video I'm going to be sharing the top 5 most common mistakes that I see new real estate photographers making. So whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just starting out, I'll be sharing plenty of actionable tips that you can use right now to create better shots. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Mistake 1, bad angles. One of the most common mistakes I see is not paying attention to the angles from which you're shooting. Especially when you're shooting with a wide angle lens, the framing can dramatically affect the perception of the space and make it look awkward or uninviting. For example, in this photo, the blank wall on the right takes up almost a third of the framing without showcasing any additional features of the home. And if we trace an outline along the ceiling, you can see that this third wall reveals the wide angle lens distortion. It basically makes this square room start to look like a trapezoid. Now, I break down my exact 3-step process on how I frame shots in this other video, so be sure to check that out to learn how it's done. Mistake number 2, blown out details. When shooting both interiors and exteriors, you're often gonna run into high contrast lighting situations where you'll have to expose either for a bright sunny area or a darker shaded area. Because our goal is to clearly show the details of each home, most real estate photographers are using a technique called high dynamic range, or HDR, which captures multiple shots at different exposures that we can later edit into a single photo. For interiors, this will allow you to show details out the windows, and for exteriors, it could mean filling in the bright or the darker areas that would otherwise be lost. To shoot HDR, simply find the AEB setting on your camera, which stands for auto exposure bracketing. At minimum, I'd recommend shooting 3 shots at 2 stops of light apart. But if you want to cover yourself for extreme lighting situations, then you can do 5 shots at 2 stops apart. Mistake 3, incorrect white balance. The next most common mistake is inaccurate white balance, and it's most noticeable when a photo has too much warm or orange color. But it can also happen when the photo is too cool or blue. And this is more of an editing problem than a shooting problem, especially if you're using a third-party editor who might have an uncalibrated computer monitor. So it's best to check over any images and quickly correct them in Lightroom before sending them off to a client. But whether you edit your own photos or outsource, you can always get more flexibility by shooting your photos in RAW and then adjust the white balance in editing later on. Mistake 4, cluttered spaces. Cleaning and decluttering the home is the responsibility of the agent, but occasionally it doesn't get done. One example from a recent job I did, the homeowner had dementia and didn't remember scheduling the photo shoot, so we just had to make a split-second decision on how to shoot the property. Now, with the new generative fill features in both Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop, decluttering photos has never been easier, and that's exactly what we did in this case. But the AI features aren't always 100% reliable at this point, so I try to divide my approach. If there's a few small objects like toiletries or something on the kitchen counter, I'll simply move them out of the way before taking the shot. But for larger objects or more extremely cluttered situations, I'll shoot it as is and worry about it in post. Mistake number 5, missing focus. The last and final mistake is getting out of focus or blurry shots. Now, most modern cameras are going to have a good autofocus system, and I have mine turned on 100% of the time when shooting photos. But at one point I rented a Sony 16-35 f4 while my main lens, a Sigma 14-24, was having the repairs done. And I never missed focus with the Sigma, but with the rental lens, I was getting 1 to 2 out of focus shots on each property. The moral of this story is that if you can't trust your autofocus, it could be due to the lens or the camera, but in either situation, I'd recommend shooting with manual focus and then using focus peaking to easily see where you have your focus in the shot. So there you have it, guys. Those are the top 5 common mistakes that I see beginners make in real estate photography. Of course, if you think I missed something, let me know down in the comments. But I hope this video was helpful, and if you're someone who's just getting started out in real estate photography, then you should check out my free 7-page ebook where I cover equipment, camera settings, composition, and more. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos on real estate photography just like this one. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.